Hello, hello, and welcome, welcome one, welcome all. So happy to have you here. If this is your first time here, welcome to the Voices in Education. Voices in Education is a safe space where we share and learn from each other. We do that in a respectful way to ensure that we're maintaining our safe space, our safe community where you feel valued and a sense of belonging. So if you're a returning viewer, subscriber, listener, caller, welcome back, welcome back. It's been a minute, guys. It's been a minute. But we're here. And guess what? Yes, we're here. It's not just me, but Avi's here for this conversation as well. Hello, Avi. Welcome. How are you doing?
I am doing well, and I just want to say, we are back. We didn't go anywhere, but we were missing a little bit, and definitely miss you guys. So, drop a comment in the chat once you're back here with us, so that we're here, and we're gonna come to you with a few stuff. So just we would enjoy having you back here with us again, and we'll definitely try as best as possible to stick around because we love this platform and we love being here with you. So, well, we're looking forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. And guys, we're kicking things off with Politics Watch. And as you know, it's an election year in Jamaica. And so we're looking forward to that. And of course, we're going to bring you all the information there is. We're going to do our election watch and in terms of looking at seats, constituencies, and doing some predictions too as well. But we want to start, this conversation, in the context of the opposition leader and the Jamaica Labour Party. So, does Mark Golding want to be the Prime Minister of Jamaica? And will the Jamaica Labour Party get another term? And so, we're definitely going to share in these contexts, and we want you to be a part of this conversation as well. So in a little bit we're going to drop the WhatsApp number in the chat so you can give us a call, or you can join us on Zoom if you'd like to share on one of these topics. But what we ask of you is to keep it real and respectful, so we don't bash anyone, we don't belittle anyone, all right? So it doesn't matter what political views you hold, that is totally okay. PNP, JLP, no P. We're Jamaicans and we want the best for our country. And so we want to hear from you. So it's not just my voice or Ovi's voice. It's our voices. Voices in education. Again, we share and learn from each other. So Ovi, where do you want to start? I guess, does Mark Golding want to be the Prime Minister of Jamaica? And so that question came up based on a clip that we have, and we're going to play it for you. And it's just about analyzing, that conversation or what he said. And we know, I guess he wants to be the Prime Minister of Jamaica for sure. He wants to send a message to the ruling or governing Jamaica Labour Party, but it was just how this particular message was communicated, and let's say on the campaign trail, because they're campaigning, both political parties, they're active, they're out, and they're definitely campaigning. And so we want to kind of break that down in the context of what he's saying. And I am wondering if Mr. Golden was really, thinking about what he was saying, but or he was just caught up in the campaign, the politics, and was just sharing, and I guess trying to hit at the prime minister, not recognizing that what he's saying is kind of ruling himself out of being the prime minister of Jamaica. So definitely we're going to talk about Mr. Golden in that context. So guys, you're here, hit the like button, hit the subscription button, share, tell a friend to tell another friend. about the voices in education. And again, we want to hear from you. We didn't send this one out because it's so early in the morning and we're just coming back. So we don't want to wake up anyone, but I suspect that persons, will join in on this conversation now or later. But Ovi, I don't know. Do you want us to go to that recording first, or do you want to share something on that particular topic?
Yes, I'll just share a few words on this. I definitely think Mark Golding wants to be the prime minister, and that's why he's in the post. I don't think he would take on that role if he didn't want to be. And I guess the party is thinking that he's the best person to carry them forward. So from that point of view, I definitely think he wants to be the prime minister of Jamaica.
All right, fantastic. In that context, then, let us go to the recording from Mr. Golding, and then we'll just try to break that down in the context of what he shared, and let's say on the campaign trail. All right, so guys, let me just get that recording up and running for you. So just give me a moment here.
As a Jamaican without a visa. You can't travel to England as a Jamaican without a visa. In fact, right now, I man can't go England. I don't have a visa. I have to look for my own visa. But you know, must get a visa when you apply for it. And then now, you have to have millions and millions of dollars to take a case to the final court of Jamaica. Because the fly lawyers up there put them up in a hotel in London. You have to engage Privy Council agents in London. Then people charge us £600 an hour, English pound an hour. So, so, so seriously, our final court is not an accessible court. So we really don't have a final court right now. And I've said to them, if you want us to participate in this joint select committee looking at this bill we put in Parliament, you have to give me some good arguments around this issue. And now, Andrew, let's don't say a word about it. We don't know what him a deal with or where him fat when it comes to this issue. Then put one sentence in the throne speech which says they're going to deal with it in phase 2 as a referendum. But I want to know what their position on the matter is. Because I want to know that Jamaica can move forward to full decolonization now. So we're not going to play those games with them. And then when you look at the bill they've brought, they set up the thing so that the president to be can be chosen by Andrew Holness, the president of Jamaica. Because if he and I don't agree, the way them set up the thing, by simple majority of both houses, which they have, they can put their own person as the president. Hey, it's a serious thing, you know. The president is not just a symbolic president in Jamaica, you know. The president has some critical roles to play in appointing sensitive people to sensitive positions, like the Integrity Commission. Because the Integrity Commissioners are chosen by the Governor General, other than the Auditor General who is there as of right. But the others are chosen by the Governor General. And when the President replaces the Governor General, it will be the President. So how can Andrew Holness want to choose the President who will appoint the Integrity Commissioners who are investigating him? Anything can go, so? You out a visa.
All right, so that's the recording, and that's from the Jamaica Gleaner. Let me just add. And so that was Mr. Mark Golding, Honorable Mark Golding, leader of the opposition. So this question came about: does Mark Golding want to be the Prime Minister of Jamaica in the context of this recording that we just heard? And so as you listened to the recording, as it get closer toward the end of the recording, you could hear Mr. Golden talking about the fact that in the context of making Jamaica a republic, right, we'll have a president and the prime minister. So he was saying the way the bill is is at this point, right, a simple majority in parliament, right, can appoint the president, and then the president will have power to appoint, persons to the integrity commission. So he's taking issues with that. But my question is, if you're going to be the next prime minister of Jamaica, why are you taking issues with that? Why are you saying, Andrew Holness is setting this up for himself? Is Mark Golding saying that the PMP will not win the next election? So that's the big question, because when I listen to this, I'm like, please, I guess he's caught up in the moment, not recognizing that he's ruling himself out when he's making these pronouncements in a bid, I guess, to get at the prime minister, right? That's Honorable Andrew Holness. But I'm saying, come on, Marky G, you're missing the point here. You're missing the mark. If I may say, you're missing the mark, because when you're going to make, these statements, you're pretty much telling us that you don't have the confidence that you're going to win the next election. Because if you're worried about the fact that Andrew Holness, can have his way by a simple majority if he's not agreeing with you as the opposition. Like, so it's as if, remember, I think this is going to be a summer election. I did a prediction, or, when the elections will be. I need to perhaps listen to that that recording again, but it's on this channel, guys, so you can check that out. But definitely a summer election in July. I'm predicting at this point. I'm not sure what I predicted months ago, but it would appear, based on this, recording, that Mr. Golding is not necessarily, you know, so confident in the PMP's, victory at the polls, the upcoming polls. So, Ovi, I'm going to come right over to you on this one. And in the meantime, while Ovi is sharing, I'm going to drop the WhatsApp number in the chat. So, over to you, Ovi.
Yeah, and I don't. That's the case though, but that's how he came across. I agree with you. I agree with you on that one. But I think he's just speaking from the position that he's in right now, and he's the opposition leader, so he's opposing what is happening on the front of the government with it regards to Andrew Holness. So I think that's what happened. But if the election is called tomorrow and he wins, then he would be in such position as you're saying there. So he's definitely. I don't think that's what he meant, but that's how he came across as conceding the election to the Jamaica Labour Party. So I'm sure if you get an opportunity to talk to him about that, he'll definitely clear that up. But that's how he came across.
Yeah, I do believe he wants to win. But it's just like, you're going, and I guess in this moment we can kind of take a lesson from this. We just have to be careful what we're putting out there, because you don't want to be out there on the campaign trail and, making a mistake or saying something that you're going to perhaps regret, or, you don't want to pay the price for something. So I guess with the excitement and everything, then, you just have to consider, what you're going to say, and just be timely. You're not in a race with anyone. You pace yourself and say what you need to say. Because when I listened to that, I was like, come on, like, I know you want to be the prime minister, so come on. If we have a July election, how is it this is becoming a big worry? But the thing is, he was trying to hit at the prime minister, I guess, trying to paint a picture of a corrupt, or unethical, leadership in that context. But then in doing that, he's pretty much kind of communicating that, they're not going to win. They're not going to win. And so that part of it, I'm like, okay, Honorable Mark Golden, you're missing the mark. You missed the mark with that one. You missed the mark. So guys, the WhatsApp number is in the chat. If you'd like to give us a call, would love to hear your voice. And please remember to hit the thumbs up button. So hit that like button, hit the subscription button. And if you're new here and you want to get familiar with us, you're just in the right place because we're not going to bash anyone. We don't disrespect anyone. We show respect and we expect persons. We can always share our views in a respectful way. So I guess that's a situation with Mr. Mark Golden in that context. And Ovi, as you shared, it's just that, he did not mean it in that sense. But as I guess persons here, we're looking on and we're, being critical, critically analyzing his talks, not just him, but, in general, what is happening on the campaign trail. And again, I suspect it's going to get more heated. And it's election. I am very fascinated with what's happening. I am always, I guess then, and I hopefully know too, the advertisement. That's one of my favorite aspects of elections, like general elections. Just looking at that and just looking at those and seeing, which parties, getting it right, meeting, I guess, getting reaching the mark, making the mark in that context. And so we'll do some of those too, so before we switch to will the Jamaica Labour Party get another term, I just want to hear from you. What are you looking forward to the most this upcoming election? And guys, we want to keep it peaceful. Go and vote because that's your right, your democratic right, and keep it peaceful. At the end of the day, we are Jamaicans, and at the end of the day, someone is going to win and someone is going to lose, and we just live and work with that. And if you didn't vote, then it means that you're not exercising your voice. You're not letting your voice speak because whether or not you vote, somebody's still going to win. So go out there, vote for the person you want to represent you in parliament for the next 4 to 5 years. And that, yeah, just do that. So, Ovi, over to you. Let me hear from you. What are you looking forward to the most? I mean, peace and the advertisement. So, over to you.
All right. Yes. For me as well, I want this one to be peaceful, but I'm definitely looking forward for the creativity. The ads, they generally have some level of creativity to it, capturing aspects, of politics and putting that out there in a unique way. So that's definitely an entertaining part for me. It's something that I look forward to. And, just to see what happens on the political platform when the campaign is going on as well. Oftentimes these guys go out there on the campaign trail and, you get some wonderful speeches coming through from different political leaders. So I'm looking forward for that too. And just to see how this one, will work out as it relates to the election. And just encouraging everyone to go out there and exercise their right to vote as well, and just try your best to be safe and take care of all the persons who are around you. So that's pretty much what I'm looking forward to. What will happen out there on the campaign trail on those platforms, and I can't wait to see the ads as well.
Fantastic. And as you were talking, I forgot that, I did not mention the political debate. Like I am for that, and as well as the manifestos or whatever they're going to put forward. But the debates for sure, and guys, we'll be here for the action. All right, we'll be here. We're going to go parish by parish, constituency by constituency. And a part of that too is just waiting for the political parties to finalize their candidates. And we see, more and more that that is being done. So we're going to perhaps start with some parishes that are, complete in that context, and we want to hear from you. So maybe we'll see where we go first in the context of that. But Ovi, I'm going to let you start this one off. Will the Jamaica Labour Party get another term? That is the big question. Will Andrew Holness led administration get another term? I want to hear from you first. And guys, if you're here in the chat, we want to hear from you as well. The WhatsApp number is in the chat. You can give us a call. You can share in the chat. And please remember to hit the like button, share button, and subscription button. It's over to you, Ovi. Let's hear from you. Will the Jamaica Labour Party get another term?
All right, that's a tough question for me. I'll have to pull the crystal ball out and see exactly what's happening in the future. But I'm going to say is that we have the power in our hands. You go out and support whoever you deem, fit to lead your country. Your vote counts. And, as it relates to the Jamaica Labour Party, yeah, you have to just analyze and say, did they do enough to to deserve your vote? Can you hold them accountable to what they placed out there, where they said that they were going to do this, do that? If they did what they were supposed to do or what they promised, then you could say yes, they did what they said. And that gives you a certain level of trust. And you could say, all right, I'm going to align myself with this government because they came with some plans, they executed, and we benefited from what they planned. So, it's from that standpoint that I would say you determine who you would vote for. But, from a personal standpoint, I think the Jamaica Labour Party did really well in the term that they have served. I think they did really well. I must mention, Nigel Clark for the contribution in terms of that leadership in terms of the finance ministry. I have never ever heard about what do they call it? Fiscal yeah, really good in terms of physical discipline, and the country was in a good position when it comes on to natural disaster and so on. So stabilizing that aspect of it, I think that was good. And I'll have to commend the Prime Minister for recruiting someone like that to enhance his government. So, I would tell you that, vote or support the party that you think will be able to enhance the country. And in this case, you know, based on the track record, if you deem it fit that the Jamaica Labour Party did really well and you want them to continue the work, then go ahead and vote for them. But if I were in Andrew's seat right now, I would be be hopeful, very hopeful based on my performance. I would look back and say that I think I did enough to get another term. So that's where I'm leaving this one. I'm going to come back over to you to hear your views on this one.
Well, thank you for sharing. You were very political, it could be a politician. I don't think, well, I guess you said personally, but then you kind of left it open. And I'm still here wanting to find out from you. Will the JLP get another term, sir? Could you answer the question? That's the question. Let them hear you laugh. Will the Jamaica Labour Party get another term, sir?
I told you that, I don't have the crystal ball. But so this is what I'll say. Based on what I've seen, I think they will get another term based on their performance. I would say yes, but what will happen is let's see if the voters will confer with me that concur with me to say that he deserves another term. The JLP deserves another term. So I'm throwing the ball over to you to hear what you're saying. You're holding me accountable. You're holding me to an answer. So let's hear what you think.
Okay, I guess we have some checks and balances here. But okay, you mentioned some really great points in the context of the JLP led administration. And, so you mentioned, Nigel Clark and his leadership of the economy. And that is something that really stood out for Jamaica or for the JLP in the context of their leadership so far. And by virtue of, the economy being in a good space, that has helped the government in terms of realizing some of their plans. No, we have seen, right, for I guess the past few months that the Jamaica Labour Party, their ship was rocked. I don't know if whatever, stormy waters will be enough to to kind of take them away from their destination in terms of another term. But we have seen, the Integrity Commission that is still ongoing. The case in the context of the Prime Minister won't be until after the general election. So he has that. I guess somewhat that's good for him. And it's good too that some of the things that he was contesting, like the court agreed that, okay, these are points that we need to move forward with based on what you're putting forward. So that is good in that sense, but not saying that because the court saying, we can move forward, there's, a case to answer in the context of these points, it does not mean that he's going to win. Right. And so I guess with the IC kind of getting that break, are Jamaicans, having that confidence. But what I can say, based on what I've seen from the Prime Minister and his administration, they don't seem to be perturbed. Like he's still working and, doing what he's doing. So, to be frank, with all things considered, in the context of what is happening and in the context of what is happening on the side of the Jamaica and People's National Party, I believe they're going to get another term. The question is, are they go? For me now, the next question to that is, are they going to get this strong majority that they have that they're enjoying now in Parliament? I do not think so, but they're still going to have a majority government. That's just my take in this context. But again, it's all up to what people are seeing, right? And I feel that the PNP, they were on a very good path, but I feel that they need to put something forward. Like there are talks to say, oh, they don't want to put something forward because the government, they're the ones in power, so they can change things to suit them, in the context of an election year. So you need to put forward your plan. Show us what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, how you're going to achieve it. Because at this point, like, we need to see something. Do not wait for the government to put out. Be the leader, not the follower. And remember that too, we have a lot of young voters who are looking forward and they want to see what's there for them. And I want to see too. Remember, I think it was it January? Perhaps there when the government or was at their conference, I don't remember, when they shared some their conference, when they shared some plans. So the government have some things up their sleeve for the budget. And I feel that they're going to rock that into the election. So we want something from the People's National Party at this point. And, Mark Golding has been doing very well, right, in the context of just getting his message in the context. Hold a moment, guys. Let me just get my microphone back in place. Yes, Mark Golding has been doing very well in the context of getting his message across. So now they need to just have a solid plan in terms of what they're going to do and share it. How you're going to finance this, what you have for the plans that you have for the country, at least for the next 4 to 5 years, in that context. So I feel that, well, for me, I am not seeing that. And that's where the People's National Party needs to come and say, come, checkmate, checkmate, we're ready. Time come. Just being serious about that. Not saying that they're not serious, but I don't like the back and forth politics. Like JLP saying this about PNP, PNP saying this about JLP. Like both parties, show me what you got, because when people are voting, you want to vote alongside policy. Not everybody does that, by the way, in terms of voting. Sometimes if you're born PNP, you're gonna vote PMP. If you're born labor right, yeah, just labor right, you're directed, whatever, traditional in that context. But a lot of I would say the younger voters, right? I feel like they want to see what's there for them, in terms of opportunities and so forth. So I feel that that message must be clear. And the next thing, break down from both sides, break down the message so that anybody can understand what the message means, you know? So in that context. So definitely looking forward to that. And we're going to go through, I mean, we're saying no to, that's just a prediction that the Jamaica Labour Party is going to get another term, but we haven't done our constituency analysis. So we're going to break down the seats to see who is likely to win. So we might even change the stand. But at this point, based on what we're seeing, without any, I guess data poll, because we don't run poll, I will listen to the people and kind of seeing. But Mark Golden still has the opportunity to catch up. I think he's a little bit behind now, and he just needs to catch up. And I like it because when it's that close, you know that people are paying attention. People is saying, okay, we need this. We need to see this for our country. And again, as I said, the Jamaica Labour Party, they have been plagued with some issues. And so, will those issues affect them at the polls? That is another question. It might very well be. But at this point, Mark Golding and his team, the PNP, they need to just straighten out things and just be ready, because remember now, they're not in power, and that's a disadvantage, not being in power, going to the polls, right? So you are depending on the people. So they need to get that message across where people can understand that, this is what you're about, and be serious about it. Have the plans, the policies, and let us know how it is that you're going to achieve these goals. Because gone are the days when Jamaicans are just listening to the sweet talk. I think, we have come a far way in that context of our, citizens, and that is wonderful because people are understanding that we're not playing a politics with this thing in a boss you know. So let me know if you're gonna fix the road because we want road. Let me know if you're gonna make us get water because we want water. Let me know if my picnic can get access to education because then if you go to school, me need I need an opportunity. And that's what people are saying and putting forward. And so that part of it is good in that context where the Jamaican populace, they're asking for more. They are holding them accountable, and then afraid to take out their phone and video them and say, see where the MP come as a gun door. So that kind of thing, and I feel like our politics have really grown in that regard. So I'm going, guys. I'm seeing you here in the chat. Comment in the chat. Let me know your views in the context of this conversation. Would love to hear from you. You can give us a call on WhatsApp. The number is in the chat as well. And don't be afraid to hit the like button, the share button, and the subscription button. Tell a friend to tell another friend about the voices in education. And if this is your first time here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Ovi, I'm coming over to you.
Yeah, you raised some important points there, and I definitely agree with you in terms of the work that Mark Golding has been putting in, and but the people needs the people need to know exactly what they are going to carry to the table, as mentioned there. So they'll have to work on that. But I'm excited to see how this one will pan out in the end. So I'm not sure if you answer the question for me in terms of telling me who, if JLP will get another term based on the wonderful work that they have been doing. But as you mentioned, not smooth sailing for them totally, as there are a few things that happened along the way. But you know, as I said before, I still think they might just have that little edge over the PNP as it relates to the leadership of the country.
Yeah, I agree with that point. And you just have to call it what it is. And at this point, I believe in what you said there. I share that same sentiment that the JLP, they're ahead at this point. Can Mark Golding catch up? Definitely. And so that is important. And that is what I am trying to say, that they need to be strategic in terms of their plans for the country and the messaging. Because while both parties were campaigning today and Mark Golding, the PNP, they were focused on Portmore being a parish and saying, it's the JLP's way of taking away two mayors from them in that context. And Mark Golden was talking about, parties and the fact that, and I quote, we can't mix up in any bangarang. We have to ensure that Parliament doesn't have people in it who mix up in things unworthy of the office of representing the people. And so, yes, good points, and we have been hearing those points, but yes, integrity matters. What's your plan for the economy? What's your plan for education, healthcare, social programs? So we want to hear, what's the plan for the environment, tourism, we want to see that something, not don't just tell us that you're gonna change, but how you're gonna change, when you're gonna change. So we need to know the juicy stuff. And so while, as I said, they were both there, so the opposition, they were talking about, removing the British monarchy, decolonization. And by the way, guys, as I've shared before on this platform, for Jamaica, from both sides of the political, what would you say now, political sides are divided. Like it's really symbolic. That's not true decolonization, and so I have shared about that in that context. So they're using that term. When I hear them using the term decolonization, they're using it rather loosely. And so for me, decolonization is more than just removing the king, as the head of state. All right. So it's more than just that in that context. So yeah, the PNP, they were talking about that. And on the other hand, right, Favour Williams, so the MP, I believe, for St. Andrew Eastern, she was sharing, right, that Jamaica is finishing the fiscal year strong, and she pointed to the international ratings agency Fitch, which last week affirmed its positive rating and outlook for Jamaica. And so, the economy is doing, fairly well in that context. And so that is something that you would want to sustain, right? That is something that you want to sustain and to improve, continue to improve over time. And as you mentioned earlier, that, the JLP in the context of Nigel Clark's leadership was very good, and that has separated them, I guess, still in this race. I feel like just having that economic stability is really putting them ahead in this race as we speak. And so again, it's time for the PMP to catch up. Time come. And we want the polls to be closely contested. For me, I want it to be closely contested, and because it gives us a signal, even if the JLP should win, it signals to them that Jamaica is looking on. Jamaica isn't pleased. And if the PNP wins, it's still sending a message that, hey, we value integrity, we value certain things, and that is definitely important too. So I want both political parties, but as I shared, and as I guess we both agree, given the position of the Jamaica Labour Party in power, the PMP is always at a disadvantage in terms of catching up. So they have to be very strategic in that context. So I am coming back over to you. We're going to wrap this one up in a little bit. So I'm just going to circle in the chat just to see if there are any new comments in the chat. Not seeing any comments. Guys, are you commenting? All right, guys, if you're here, hit the thumbs up button and let me see if someone is going to comment in the chat. Would love to hear from you, or if there's anyone who is going to give us a call. But we're here and we're back and we're ready to hit the ground running. I guess that's what they say in the context of this upcoming election. So we'll be here. So you want to ensure that you're sticking and staying with us. So hit that subscription button, right? Tap the bell, select all so that you do not miss any updates from this channel. Ovi, I am coming back over to you to find out if you have any other, views or ideas, suggestions, recommendations, whatever it is that you'd like to share. We want to hear from you.
No worries. And I'm going to shoot this one at you just to hear what your views on it. But do you think the PNP, led by Mark Golding, has certain plans, but they're holding it close to their chest just to ensure that if they win, they'll be able to execute those. Because I think it's a hard balance, to execute in the sense where you don't want to put all your plans out there and then you're not in the position to execute those plans. But on the other hand, if you don't, then persons will could formulate the argument that you don't have any plans to go forward with. So that's a kind of one. I'm going to ask you to shed light on that one. And if you're here with us too, let us know in the chat what you think about that question, as well as what we have on screen there. Let us know your views on Mark Golan becoming PM, and also if the JLP will get another term. Would love to hear from you. But this one is going to be an interesting election, And as you said, you think that it's going to be a closer one. Last one was pretty much a landslide for the JLP. So let's see if the PNP have learned their lesson and will be able to bounce back on this one. So it's lots on the table, lots of things to pacify here. But let's see how this one goes. As we know, it's coming soon. The election has to be sometime this year, and as you predicted, you're thinking in the summer. I'm not sure when it's going to be called, but I think I can't wait to see how this one turns out. So I'm coming back over to you with the question. Do you think that you know the the prime minister as well too? Do you think the JLP? I'm going to ask you this one for both sides. Do you think they have certain plans for the country that they're going to keep close to their heart, just to ensure that when they go in, they can claim that I did this. So, from the Prime Minister's standpoint, I would like you to, share your views on that one. And from Mark's point of view, Mark Golden, do you think that he has certain plans, but I'm not going to put this out there yet. I'm going to hold it there. But, I'm sure you have heard before the arguments that it's in the social media, it's in the media in general, that persons are not so sure if they have a plan to go forward with the country. But could it be a case that it is there, but they are a little bit tentative in sharing that or using that, just want to ensure that when they get in power, if they do, then they will be able to execute those things. So coming back over to you.
All right, fantastic. So, I guess your question is about, if the plans of the opposition, if, it's okay to share or if they should hold that near and dear to them. And the same on the government side, if they should share their plans. So, I'm just going to say this. I guess let me start with the government because it's easy. In the context of the government and in the context of your question, that would be very foolish of the government to have their plans and save it. They're in power. You need to articulate that to the electorate in a very clear way in terms of how you're going to achieve and what the goals you're setting, how you're going to achieve these goals. So timeline, you they need to have their plan. So if the government is doing that, then I don't think they are, because that would be very stupid of them to do that, because they have the power and you want people to have something to look forward to. So you cannot be in power and hiding anything. So I suspect with the reading of the budget, as was promised by the leader, that we're going to hear some more of those plans. They're not going to hide them. I don't think they will never hide them. In the context of the opposition, no. I want to say that the role of the opposition is not just to oppose, right? So it's not one that is merely antagonistic. And so I want to make that clear. It should not be. Let me just put that out there. It should not be one that is merely antagonistic. All right. So with that said, your question was, whether they have certain plans that they do not want to share and they want to be the ones to come in power to implement that. To me, that would be selfish. Because if you're thinking about the public good, the best interest of the Jamaican populace, you can put forward a plan. Say to the government, this is something that we are proposing. This is how we are recommending that you do it. And the government, and let the people of Jamaica know why you're doing it, why you're putting it forward, because that is gaining political points. So I would be hurt to know that the opposition could do something for healthcare that could save so many lives, and they hold on to it because they're waiting to get in power, right? So I feel that the opposition, with the power of social media, with the power, they need to just put out their message and be clear, right? And so while the government, again, this is why I say that just being in opposition in an election year, you're at a disadvantage. But you now have to be clear with your message in terms of mobilizing the electorate to get the results at the polls, because not getting the results at the polls means you're still going to be in opposition. So if the people are demanding, as we hear from time to time and just talking to persons, that they're not coming with a plan, they don't know what they're going to do for the country, let the people have a plan. Put out your plan before the government. So if the government is going to do this, you can say, this is our idea. We publish this first, right? And you stick to that. But you cannot be afraid, right? If you want to get a government out of power, not to put out your plans. Again, the role of the opposition is not merely to oppose, right? And so that is definitely important in that context. So I guess just to conclude in the context of your questions, Ovi, if the government has a plan and they're waiting to see if they're going to win back election before they tell us about that, then that's going to be stupid of them. And then they'll have to consider that somewhere in the budget, right? And so in that context, that doesn't make sense for them. And the other aspect of your question regarding the opposition, if they want to wait until they get in government. What if they don't get in government the next for July? I'm predicting a July election somewhere there. What if they don't get in government at that point? What is going to happen to that beautiful plan? No man, don't be selfish. Share it. That's just my take on it, Ovi. So yeah, back over to you. Let me know if I answered your questions.
All right. Yes, you did answer the questions expertly there. Thank you so much for sharing. And it's really interesting, and I think we have some interesting times ahead of us here as we watch this one unravel here. We are going to see exactly who are the persons who will be supporting the leaders in terms of getting a stronghold in their constituencies. So, we're looking forward to that breakdown. But guys, if you're here with us right now, please close the chat and hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscription button, and continue to support us. As you know, the support that you give to us will encourage other persons to join this platform, and we would love to hear your voice. So, when a lot of us are here, when we're here together and we share our views and ideas, that will be, you know, educating each and every one of us so that we can, become better at understanding what is happening in our country. Again, I'm going to encourage you to go out and vote to represent your member of parliament and to support your party as well. But we're here and we're going to do our best to bring you some updates of what is happening as it relates to the political landscape here in Jamaica, and we'll definitely follow what the leaders are doing for both parties to see exactly what is happening, where their headspace is, where what they're focusing on, what will be trending as it relates to the election coming up this year. So, stick and stay with us. And remember to drop your comments in the chat so that we can hear what you think about what we are discussing and your general views on, the political landscape. So coming back over to you.
Fantastic. So we have about 6 or so minutes in this one before we wrap this one up. And thanks to that person who hit the like button. Really appreciate your support. And if you're still here, would love to hear from you, in the context. So It's just a good conversation, and guys, we keep it real and respectful. So we respect our leaders, so we're not going to bash or defame anyone. We're not that kind of platform, so we don't do that. We don't talk dirty, and we keep it real and respectful. So we respect Mr. Golding, we respect Mr. Wholeness, and we respect, people in general respect you, and we want to maintain our safe space and our safe community. So while some of us may have, certain emotions going, we're here to say it's okay to share, and it's okay to share your frustrations too if you have them, but do it in a respectful way, because guys, we don't have any money to pay any defamation lawsuit, okay? We're just here cultivating this space where we can hear from each other, and it doesn't matter if you're PNP, JLP, what's the name of party? NDM. This
Back in the day.
I don't think. But as we know, third parties do not survive in the Caribbean. So coming from me, in that context, third parties won't survive in the Caribbean. So that's the situation. So, yes, guys, that's pretty much, what we have to talk about in the context of our conversation. And just to wrap things up, if you're just tuning in, the question regarding does Mark Golding want to be the Prime Minister of Jamaica, that came about from a recording shared by the Jamaica Gleaner where Mr. Golding was talking about, Jamaica becoming a republic in the context of the bill, right? That is there. And what he was sharing is that if it is that this bill should move forward, right, and become a legislation, what he's saying is that the president, right, can be selected by a simple majority. And he's pretty much concerned about the fact that the Jamaica Labour Party, they will be able to do that if they do not agree, right? So that is if the opposition and the governing party, if they don't agree, then that is concerning to him in the context of, for example, the selection of the members of the Integrity Commission. So by virtue of listening to Mr. Mark Golding, we came up with this question, just to figure out, okay, you're pretty much kind of communicating too that you're not going to win the next election because, I mean, the election, I mean, should be called by September. I'm suspecting it's going to be called by in July. And so, if it is that you're thinking about these few months and having a president, I am saying, but if you should go into parliament, you will have that advantage too, where if you want a president that the opposition, the Andrew Holness administration, does not want, you can have your president by a simple majority. So in that context, we talked about the fact that, we just need to consider what we're sharing because in the moment he was trying to get at the prime minister, I guess, trying to paint the picture, that is, I guess, unethical or corrupt, but at the same time, not recognizing that based on what he was communicating, he was ruling himself out as being the next prime minister. But we conclude that we do not believe he meant it that way, but it just came across that way. So just to share that. And then we talked about, will the Jamaica Labour Party get another term? And based on the conversation, we're saying yes, it's likely that they're going to get another term, but perhaps not with that landslide victory that they had. So that's pretty much it for this conversation. I just want to thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be here maybe later on just to have another conversation. So ensure that you hit the like button, hit the subscription button, tap the bell, select all so that you do not miss any updates from this channel. All right. And thank you so much for tuning in at this hour. Guys, we're back and we're back. That's the message. We're back and we're ready. So, Politics Watch is on. And of course, if you're not new here, you know that we do quite a few programs as well. So, we're here and we're ready to take back our voice. Yeah, we're taking back our voice. So, Ovid, do you have any final comments? So, just coming over to you to find out if you have any final comments. Over to you.
Yeah, yeah, really interesting program so far, and we are looking forward for the discussions going forward, on this platform. So, guys, just remember to hit that subscription button and turn that post notification on. So when we're going live again, you can be notified so that you can come along and keep our company. We totally enjoy having you guys here with us, and we'll continue to work on this relationship so that when you come in and you feel that desire to hit the like button or to just drop a comment in the chat, then you will do that. But we totally enjoy having you here with us and looking forward to seeing you the next time.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Yes, and not just looking forward to seeing you, but also to hearing your voice. All right. So we want to hear your voice on these issues. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. We're just going to play some music and sign out of this one. Blessings and love, everyone. And remember, today for me, tomorrow for you. All right. So blessings and love, everyone, and we'll see you in the next live. So remember to hit that subscription button and turn on your post notification by tapping the bell and select all so that you do not miss any updates from this channel. Remember, tell a friend to tell another friend about the Voices in Education. Again, Voices in Education is a safe space where we share and learn from each other. All right. Thank you so much, guys. And perhaps we'll be here later. All right. We'll be greater. Blessings and love. And I'll just go to some music. Please do not leave without hitting the like button and the subscription button. Take care. Bye for now.